Good morning and welcome to my very first video on my YouTube channel TSF Transport. My name is Tobias and in today's video I'm going to be riding on one of Lower Austria's beautiful branch lines, the Erlauftalbahn, which runs from Purgstall to Scheibs. On the way we're going to visit some of the stations along the line, and I'm also going to tell you some interesting facts about the past, the present and the future of this branch line. At the moment I'm still in Vienna at Wien-Hütteldorf railway station, and I'm waiting for my train to arrive, which is going to be here in a couple of minutes, and that train is then going to take me all the way to Purgstall, where we are then going to change onto the Erlauftalbahn. So we have now arrived in Purgstall, and over here, right over there on platform 5, we can see the train that we're going to be catching today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over there, and on the way I'm going to tell you a few interesting facts about the Erlauftalbahn. The Erlauftalbahn is a branch line in the western part of Lower Austria, operated by the Austrian Federal Railways ÖBB. The line starts at Purgstall, a station on the main railway line between Vienna and Salzburg, where it then branches off into the Erlauf Valley and follows the river Erlauf all the way to the small town of Scheibs. On the way, it stops at 9 intermediate stations, with most of these stations being request stops only. The line is not electrified and is single track over its full length, with only 3 passing loops at Erlauf, Wieselburg and Purgstall. The Erlauftalbahn was originally opened in 1877. The main incentive for the construction of this railway line was the rapid growth of the iron industry, with the Erlauf Valley being one of the main areas in Austria for the mining and processing of iron at that time. Originally opened under the concession of the private company K&K Privilegierte Niederösterreichische Südwestbahnen, the line was taken over by the state-owned railway company K&K Niederösterreichische Staatsbahnen in 1878. Hence, it was brought into state ownership only 1 year after it was originally opened. Since then, the railway has served the Erlauf Valley for many years, providing critical infrastructure for people and freight in the area. Unfortunately though, in 2010, the section of the line between the original terminus station, Kienberg-Gamming, and today's terminus station, Scheibs, was permanently shut down. This is due to the Lower Austrian government's car-centric transport policies, to which many branch lines in Lower Austria have fallen victim to over the years. Today, the remaining part of the Erlauftalbahn is served by a relatively frequent train service with hourly connections throughout the day, including early mornings, late evenings and weekends. The rolling stock used on the line is the Class 5047, a diesel rail car which has been running on the line since the 1990s. There are plans to upgrade the line in the next few years, however, which will also mean new rolling stock. More about that you will find out later in the video. So I'm now on platform 5, and here we can see our train that we're going to be catching today. And well, seeing as my train's departing in a few minutes, I think I'd better get on. One thing that I love about going on train lines like this one is the fact that the train literally all the time has to like toot its horn, and that's because on this line there's a lot of level crossings where there's no barrier and no signals. So basically, you know, the people crossing, the only way they are warned by the signal of the train. So we are just about to approach Wieselburg, which is the first place where I'm going to be getting off the train today. The good thing is, this train actually has 15 minutes scheduled waiting time in Wieselburg, which means that I can get off the train, you know, show you a little bit around, and then actually I can get back on the same train again without having to wait a whole hour for the next one. I'm sure the reason why the train stops here for 15 minutes is so that, you know, enthusiasts like me can get off the train and walk around and make a YouTube video. I'm sure that's it. So we are now at Wieselburg, as you can see over here. As you can see, this station has been fairly recently modernized. You have, you know, high-level platforms that theoretically would enable step-free access onto the train. However, as you can see, these trains do not allow for step-free access. So until new trains come, step-free access here is only in theory. Over here we have a nice old station building which is kept in good condition. I'm glad that they, you know, kept the old building when they renovated the station. And I think in there we also have a little waiting room, which I'm sure comes in handy, you know, if you're waiting here in the winter months. So now I'm standing outside the station. As you can see, it is a lovely old-fashioned station building. I love the architecture. And when we look over here, we can see that we have interchange for buses, which was also fairly recently built. What's also brilliant, over here we have a little sharing point where you can hire mobility scooters, electric scooters, bicycles, and I think that's great that they've really developed this station into an intermodal hub. And over here we have what I believe to be a fairly newly constructed overpass bridge so that you can get onto the other side of the tracks. I'm just going to go up there and take a look. So here I am now at the top of the bridge, and I must say this bridge is great. A, because you've got quite a nice view, and on the other hand though, the great thing about it is that the people who now live on the eastern side of the train station can now cross the tracks and go directly to the station without having to do any long detours, which is brilliant because, you know, by just building this one passenger bridge, you've actually doubled the catchment area of the station.
R57 nach Purgstall fährt ein.
So as we can see, the train in the other direction has just pulled into the station. That is also why this train had to wait for 15 minutes, because the line ahead is only single track. So yeah, the 15 minutes waiting time is not for train enthusiasts making YouTube videos. So the next place we're going to be getting off today is Purgstall, and note that most stations on this line are request stops, so if you want to get off, you do have to press the request stop button in time for the train to stop. So we are now in Purgstall, and as you can see, this station is a little bit different to the one where we were before, because, well, the platforms are very narrow and very low down. So this is one of the stations that has not been modernized yet. I must say, I do like old stations like these. I mean, sure, they definitely do not fulfill the requirements of a modern train station, an accessible station, but it's just something about these old buildings, the old narrow little platforms. It just gives the whole thing a little bit of charm. So this sign here, at a first glance, nothing very spectacular, basically just telling you caution when walking over the tracks, look out if there's trains coming. But one thing I find quite funny is that on here you can see that you've still got trains towards Kienberg written on the sign, which is not correct because the line section to Kienberg-Gamming has been shut since 2010. So obviously this sign has not been replaced in a very long time. So what I thought I'd do, I'd take this little footpath here over the stream, which apparently takes me to the town centre of Purgstall. So now we are walking over the river Erlauf into the town centre of Purgstall. So I'm now here in the town centre of Purgstall. I must say it's quite a nice little place. You've got lots of cafes, a church. I'm here on Sunday morning, so hence this is why there's lots of churchgoers coming out at the moment. And it looks like there's going to be some sort of public event taking place here soon because there's a big stage set up, so no idea what that is about. What I also noticed is that the town centre of Purgstall is designated as a Begegnungszone, so that is a shared space where cars can drive through, but they have to do so at a very slow speed, at 20 kilometers an hour maximum. Also, you know, they have to share the same space with pedestrians and cyclists. But I think that's really great because it just, you know, livens up the town centre. You could see it is a place that people love going to and spending their time. So I'm going to head back to the train station now because there's not a lot of time left until my train leaves. Now I'm back at Purgstall train station, and before we continue on our last leg of the journey down to Schalps, I thought I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the future of the Erlauftalbahn, because in the next few years there's going to be some significant upgrades taking place. So here's some facts about it. In the next 4 years, there will be some significant modernisation works and upgrades taking place on the Erlauftalbahn. The ÖBB Rahmenplan, which is a document that sets out all planned railway projects in Austria for the next 6 years, sees a €144 million investment for the Erlauftalbahn between 2025 and 2028. These investments will be used to fully electrify the line with overhead wires, which will mean more modern and climate-friendly rolling stock can be used in the future. This will also enable more direct train services to the Lower Austria's capital city of St. Pölten, meaning fewer changes between trains will be required for commuters in the Erlauf Valley. Furthermore, numerous stations will be modernised and equipped with new features such as level access platforms, real-time information, and more park and ride and bike and ride facilities. Lastly, many of the level crossings along the line will be replaced by under or overpasses. This is to reduce the likelihood of casualties at level crossings and improve overall safety. These upgrade works will enable faster, greener, and more accessible journeys for the people living in the region, providing a more attractive and sustainable travel alternative to the private motor car and bringing new economic opportunities to the area. So we have now reached the final stop of the line, which is Scheibs. So as I said at the beginning of the video, back until 2010 this line actually used to continue on to Kienberg-Gamming, but yeah, sadly since 2010 the last station of the line is Scheibs. However, there is at least still a bus link that continues from Scheibs onto places like Gamming and Lunds am See. So yeah, this service runs hourly on weekdays and 2 hourly on weekends. So thankfully there are still public transport connections for getting to Gamming, however not anymore by train. But you know, if you want to come to the area, you can for example catch this bus all the way to Lunds am See and visit the lovely Lundser See lake, one of the most beautiful lakes in Lower Austria. I hope you enjoyed my video about the Erlauftalbahn today. If you like this video, do press the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe, as there will be more fun content coming soon. Bye!